So today I'm going to show you 5 simple exercises that you can do to prevent avoidable injuries. So avoidable injuries happen every day. They can happen when you're walking, they can happen when you get in and out of the shower, they can happen when you're going up and down the stairs. It's reported that 1 in 4 older adults report having a fall every year. And so it's really important to make sure that you've got good balance and that you've got strong muscles so you can prevent these injuries or these risk factors from happening. You're going to need a couple pieces of equipment, a small weight. Mine's kind of a bigger weight, but you can start off with something small. You can do the exercise without the weight and then work up to it. And then also a resistive band. But same thing, if you don't have the resistive band or if you're not quite ready for it, that's okay. We can do the exercises without it. So the first one that we're going to start off with is just a simple mini squat. So a lot of times, especially going up and down the stairs, you just don't have the strength in your quads and your glutes and your hamstrings. So just starting off with some mini squats is a great way to start strengthening without doing something so big it's just going to make you have a whole lot of pain. So starting off with your feet about hip width apart, shoulder width apart. Your feet and your toes are facing forward, not out, not in. Those are kind of different squats. And then what you're going to do is really just almost unhinge your hip, unlock your knees, and then go back just a little bit. A lot of times you'll hear the arguments of knees over toes and if you're supposed to go over toes. Well, for this one, you really want to strengthen those larger muscle groups. So you really want to hinge back. You want to keep those knees behind your toes. And so all I'm doing, again, is unlocking and kind of hinging back and then coming up. So I'm not going down into a deep squat. I'm just unlocking and going down a little bit. So you can see I'm just doing a little bit of an unlock and then coming back up. If you haven't done these before, you're a little bit unstable, make sure you're doing it with a chair or the couch or a bed behind you. So if you feel like then you need to sit all the way down, you've got something to sit down on. You can do these for reps or you can do it for time, whatever is most comfortable for you. So then the next one is going to be horizontal abduction, or tees, you might hear them called, with a resistive band. Now, if you haven't used resistive bands before and you're ready for them, you've been cleared by your doctor to do so, make sure you start off with the lightest ones. A lot of times they don't seem like a lot, but they really are working your muscles a lot more than you think you are. So starting out, bringing the band out in front of you, give yourself a little bit of slack, so not super close or that's going to be really hard to open. Just maybe starting about shoulder width apart and your thumbs up on top. You don't have to stick up your thumbs, but you don't want to go this way because that impinges your shoulders a little bit. You want your whole fists turned up so the thumbs are in the upward position. Arms straight out. If that's uncomfortable, you can go down just a little bit, but ideally about 90 degrees. And then you're just going to open up. You don't have to go all the way out, and then nice and slow coming back in. If you want to go all the way out, if that's something you like doing, give yourself a little bit more band so then you can go out a little bit and then coming back in. Now, the big thing with resistive bands is make sure you're controlling the band. Don't let the band control you. It's not a fast movement. Now I'm just using momentum, and you could actually injure yourself doing that. So nice, slow, and controlled. Make sure you are doing a nice movement with the bands and you're controlling it, not having it snap back. So same thing, you can do that for time or you can do that for actual reps, whatever's most comfortable for you. So then the next one, ideally, you would want to probably start off with maybe like a 1 pound or a 2 pound. This is just the one that I have access to right now. And this is just going to be a rotation with a weight. Now, if you're not quite ready for this standing up, you can do it sitting down. But starting off, have your feet about hip, shoulder width apart and just have the weight not completely close to you, but just a little bit out in front of you where your elbows are bent a little bit. And then I'm just rotating this way, coming back, and then rotating this way. So I'm just getting that shift of weight and having my core and my balancer muscles making sure that I don't, kind of wobble over. So again, if you're not quite ready for a weight, you can just kind of clasp your hands together or just have your hands out in front of you and then rotate back and forth. So you're shifting that weight to each side. And then if that gets super easy, you can bring your feet closer together and then rotate back and forth. And so I'm not really swinging my whole body back and forth. It's my upper body is rotating. My hips will move a little bit, but it's more that upper body moving. So I'm shifting that weight from side to side, which is going to throw me off balance a little bit, but then that helps make my muscles work. So if I'm getting out of the shower and I stumble one way, my body's already used to that, knowing that that weight is shifted over there, and then that could hopefully prevent me from having a fall. So that's why that's really important. The next one, then, talking about balance in general, is a simple single leg stance. So again, if you haven't worked on these before, make sure you're next to a counter. Maybe you have your cane if you use a cane or a walker, or a nice sturdy chair that you can hold on to. Make sure you're holding on to something. If you've never done it before, make sure somebody's with you so they can kind of help you out, because it might look easy, but if you don't have good balance, it's harder than it looks. So all you're doing is just like it sounds, you're balancing on one foot. So again, if you need to hold on to something, you can hold on to something, and then, you know, maybe start off, see if you can hold it for 10 seconds, and then work your way up to a minute. If that becomes easy, then maybe just hold on with one hand, and then work your way up with the time. And then if that becomes easy, you can just hold on with a finger, because that also still helps. And then you can try balancing without anything. But make sure that you're slowly progressing up. Make sure that you're accomplishing the task each time, getting up to a minute without any issues or extra soreness, and then you can progress to the next step. And then once you get the balance down, and that's really easy to do, and you're working both sides, so then you would shift over to the other side as well. Now you're going to do a single leg balance with a reaching motion. So I'm going back into that single leg balance, and now I'm just kind of leaning forward, shifting my whole body forward, almost like I'm reaching for something. So I'm just kind of going forward like this and then coming back. And again, you know, do that a couple of times, switch legs. You know, first of all, you're just kind of, again, hinging at the hips, just shifting that body weight, coming back. Then as it gets easier and easier, you can reach a little bit further and come back. And again, this is so if you find yourself in a position when you're walking or going up and down the stairs and you get over on one foot and you're, you know, shifting your weight everywhere, if you practice that, then you will be more likely to be able to correct yourself in a situation where all of a sudden it happens. You know, if you don't practice these things, and your body's not going to know what to do when you get into that position. And so that's why it's really important. And then just a bonus exercise, which I think is great and important just for your overall well-being and health, is actually doing some diaphragmatic breathing. And so I'm going to sit down doing this. If you haven't done diaphragmatic breathing before, a lot of times doing it lying down is a really good way to figure it out, because it's a little bit harder than you would think it is, because people just say, oh, it's belly breathing. But a lot of times it's hard, if you're so used to breathing up through your chest, to do what we call belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. And so a great way to do it is give yourself kind of some visual targets. And so what I like to do is place one hand on my chest and one hand on my belly. And so what I'm trying to do is the hand on my chest is really just kind of stay in one spot. It might move a little bit, but it's not going to move a lot. But my hand on my belly is going to be the one that when I breathe in, all the air should go in my belly and my hand should come out. And then when I breathe out, it comes back in. So a lot of times my tummy likes to growl when I do that. So if you hear that, that's all it is. It just means I need a snack after this. But again, it's a little harder than it looks. So sometimes if you're lying down, it makes it a little bit easier. But all I'm doing is breathing in and breathing out. So you can see it's not a big movement, but you should be able to see my hand come out just a little bit and then go back in. So again, breathing in and breathing out. So a lot of times this is a great way to do after you've done your exercises, to kind of calm everything back down, to help increase your lung capacity, because that's also important in overall health too. You know, if you're getting winded and getting out of breath and you're going up and down the stairs, there's a likelihood that if you're, you know, winded, you might end up having an accident or tripping or falling or something like that. So that's a really great thing to do to help prevent avoidable injuries. So if you'd like to support my channel, click on the link up there, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking down there. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.